Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the Ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
Here is a quotation from Eleanor Roosevelt, and it really is true. You gain strength, courage, and confidence by every experience in which you really stop to look fear in the face. You must do the thing you think you cannot do. Absolutely. Here comes Kate Smith and God Bless America on a Thursday, June 28th. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Oh, good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm Zeb Bell on a Thursday. Kind of overcast out there this morning and cooler. Zeb at the Ranch, I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. And get ready for a road trip. Stop in and see any one of the 7 locations today, along with some of our great advertisers, and they include Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Right now, let's go to the phone line and have our Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir.
Are you the man?
Yes, sir. I thought I'd do it this morning.
All right, go ahead, please.
All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Wheels. And right now it's time for the weather. We're going to see what it's going to be like over the next couple of days. And Roger, good morning, Roger, and the crew over at K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, right there smack dab on the Burley-Paul Highway, are bringing you the weather. And they've got the best of rental of the tools and equipment, everything you need to finish any kind of a project. And I'm telling you, if you're not sure what you need, call them. They can help you. Stop in, pick it up. You're all set. 678-3122. K&R Rental on the Burley-Paul Highway. And right now, here's our weather.
It's going to be nice and relatively mild as far as weather is concerned, considering the high temperatures that we had yesterday. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting mostly sunny skies for today. A little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the west, right around 15 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 30 miles an hour. And we are expecting a high of 78. Tonight, mostly clear skies. The winds will continue out of the west-southwest. Gusts as high as 25 miles an hour. Expecting a low of 52 tomorrow. Sunny, still breezy, high of 72 for Friday night. Mostly clear skies with a low of 50. By Saturday, sunny and 75 clear skies for Saturday night with a low of 51. For Sunday, sunny skies in 82, and as we look ahead towards Monday, looks like sunny skies in mid-80s. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Boy, I love that forecast. Good morning, and thank you, Gina. K&R Rental, 256 South, 600 west of Heyburn, and they've got all the available tools and equipment you need for both long-term and short-term usage. Get a hold of them today. K&R Rental, 678-3122, over in Heyburn. Nice people. Merv May, come on in here. Let's sell some cattle.
All right. It gets set of steer calves there, here to $1.31, 1.5,
Oh, that's the chant of the world's best auctioneer. I could listen to him all day long. Merv May over at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard at 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Merv May along with Cade Rogge and Lance Udy, the sale that works for you. The number to call for sale information and cattle consignments, 678-9411. And today, here's some of the cattle going through the ring today. Alan Kunzler over to Park Valley, bringing in 2 semi-loads of butcher cows. Hello, Alan. And, of course, Chet and Kim Brackett out at Three Creek. That's where the Cowboys live. 38 head of butcher cows. And Ward Dairy in Burley bringing in 30 head of Holstein steers. P-Bar S Dairy out to Malda. Hello, 25 head of Holstein heifers. And we're going to have butcher cows from the Funk Dairy, Antelope Hills Dairy, and Acme Dairy. Sale time at 10:30 this morning at Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Number to call again, 678-9411. Merv, sell those steers.
All right, a good set of steer calves there, here to $1.31, 1.5, 31, 1.5, 32, 2.5, 3.5, 134, 4.5, 5.5, 130, 550, 135, 1.5, selling $1.35. Zeb Bell, get the bottom again.
I'll tell you what, Merv, thank you very much. He can really roll that chant. Thank you so much. Now, the pathetic left Democrats are issuing death threats. You know, I honestly can't understand why people in this country are so filled with hate and animus because they didn't get their way. Some of the conservative and Christian women that go on TV to be interviewed about their thoughts about conservatism and their Christianity have been starting to receive death threats. Some of the threats are so vile and so filthy they cannot be repeated or even closely said on the airwaves. This thing is completely out of hand. I'm going to do a commercial break, and I'm going to read a little excerpt from a story that was sent to me by a friend of mine with the Media Research Center back in Washington, D.C. And the violence against Republicans and conservatives is heavily on the rise. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute. Right now, don't forget Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. Yeah, good morning, good morning. They open the doors at 7:30 till 5 Monday through Friday. And it's not brag, it's a fact. They've got all your heating, cooling, and electrical needs and all the knowledge. They've got years and years of experience. They've been in business almost 60 years. Work with the best. They can help you. Call them, 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley, where they provide warm winters and cool summers. Caller, I'll be right there. Don't forget, too, Denny's Restaurant. We're going to be talking to Thomas over at Denny's Restaurant in just a few moments. Not a few moments. I mean, about maybe hour and a half. And Denny's Restaurant, of course, is 611 North Overland in Burley. They are America's Diner. Holy moly, they've got a great menu. Oh, I'm really partial, I got to tell you, to those pancakes with the strawberries and cream on top. Ooh, I love them. Don't forget, stop in anytime, all the time, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Overland in Burley, or another location, 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. Caller, good morning and thank you. I cannot hear you, Wheels. You got to man the equipment over there, buddy. They are not on the air. There we go. Come on, turn them on. Let's go. They're not coming through at all. I don't know what's happened to our system over there this morning, but Wheels, you've got to get these callers on the air, please. While I'm waiting to have that situation rectified, caller, stand by. We'll work on it, hopefully, and get you on the air. Don't forget Dino Septic Service, and they, of course, have 2 locations. Actually, they serve all the Magic Valley. 436-6526, and in Burley, 678-1638. Septic tanks being pumped, septic tanks and drain fields installed. installed. Don't forget liquid waste removal, sewer and sink drain lines cleaned. They are the best at what they do. And believe me, they want to serve you with jobs that we just don't want to handle. That's right. Dino Septic Service. You get a hold of them today. They'll drive in the yard with a great big truck that says smells cargo on the way. Dino Septic Service. Wheels, do we have the caller ready to go?
We do, sir. George is here, but let me see.
All right, let's try it again quickly. Are you there, caller?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're going to have to speak up really loud, George. Go ahead. How are you, sir?
We're doing good. We're up there getting ready to go under our glaciers. Weather's a little rainy, but what a wonderful trip.
George Mass is calling on the phone from up in Alaska. He's taking a cruise with his grandson, and he painted a visual the other day of him standing up on the top deck in his funny-colored shorts absorbing all the sun, right?
There's no shorts up there, my friend. It's a little bit on the cool side.
Now, whereabouts in Alaska are you quickly?
We're going to the Ford Glacier today, then we'll hit Skagway, Juneau, Ketchikan.
Now,
do a helicopter ride, take the tour into Yukon, and 4 hours deep sea fishing.
oh, my goodness. Deep sea fishing sounds like a lot of fun. Now, when is your return scheduled from your great big Alaskan cruise?
We'll be back July 3rd. We'll fly into Boise on the 3rd of July.
Well, I want to tell you, George, it's such a treat to hear from you, and if anybody...
We spent about 16 hours yesterday up on the Fantail just watching the ocean.
Oh, I'll bet it was great. Have you seen any wildlife, any moose or any whales, or what's going on?
Yesterday we seen a bunch of whales. We've seen porpoises. We've seen dolphins, and went through a big school of fish.
Well,
Beautiful country.
well, George, thank you so much for calling in. We're having a hard time hearing you, but God bless you. Enjoy the trip with your grandson, and we'll talk to you when you get back.
All right, sir. Have a good day.
There you go. George Mass on a cruise up in Alaska with his grandson. And we wish him well. What a nice trip. And what a great way to really get to know your grandson. That is really something. Hey, don't forget Pomerel Place at 1301 Bennett Street in Burley. And the number to call, 677-8212. They're going to have a health fair. And Cassia Regional is going to be doing the blood drawing. And I'll tell you what, they're going to have vendors, they're going to have giveaways, they're going to have prizes, they're going to have raffles, thanks to our friends at the Goodie Shop and also the Flower House, Jill's Flower House. And all of this is going to take place on July 18th from 8 to noon. So everybody try to be there at Pomerel Place. And that, of course, a place for senior living. And the number is 677-8212. Thank you very much. Let's see, what else have I got here cooking this morning that I wanted to tell you about? Oh, yes, before we get involved in the pathetic left and read you that little document, I want to have this good word for, Wheels, if you would please, the Silver State Stampede.
PRCA Rodeo Action thunders into Elko, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. 3 big days for the 2018 Silver State Stampede. Nevada's oldest rodeo is family entertainment at its finest. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of pro riders going head-to-head in one of the toughest sports in the world. Action kicks off Friday, July 13th with mutton busting, a delicious tri-tip dinner, the Calcutta, Old West bronc riding, PRCA rodeo action, the world-famous Ring of Fear, and dancing to the Jeff Palmer Band. Gates open on Friday and Saturday at 4 with mutton busting starting at 6 and rodeo action starting at 7. And on Sunday, gates open at noon with mutton busting at 1 and the rodeo action starting at 2. Tickets on sale now at the Boot Barn and the Elko Chamber Office. Rodeo action at its finest. With the 2018 Silver State Stampede, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. For more information, contact silverstatestampede.com.
Thank you very much, and calls are welcome at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I sit back in my chair and I say, good morning, caller. How are you?
Good morning, Zebra. This is the good news guy of Senior Junction.
on South Overland in Burley, Idaho.
Okay.
We're going to have spaghetti and meat sauce. And I forgot what kind of yummy dessert we're having, but it'll be there. Tomorrow, biscuits and gravy and sausage, and we'll probably have some fruit. Welcome everybody out to the Senior Center. We need your participation, and we look forward to the coming week.
Hey, Joe, I got a question for you. Are you a real professional spaghetti eater? Are you one of those that can twirl it around your fork, or are you one of those that kind of slurp it all into your mouth at the same time?
I'm a slurper.
You're a slurper. All right, there is the good news slurper for the great folks out there on Overland. Thank you. We appreciate it, Joe.
Have a good one.
All right.
We appreciate you.
God bless you, man. We appreciate you. Joe Taylor, and everybody support the senior centers. Thank you very much. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb.
Hi, Linda.
Hi. Before you get started, may I make a brief announcement again about the patriotic program on July 1st?
I've been hitting it really hard the last couple of days, but I think it would be really good if you would.
Home some of the time.
Okay. Go ahead.
Zeb, I appreciate you very, very much.
No, we had Colleen Wood on the program the other day, and she talked about it, but why don't you tell us a little bit more about it this morning, Linda? Go ahead.
Well, I will do that. We have 2 performances of our patriotic program, which has patriotic and sacred music about our country and other things in the performance as well. And it is at the King Fine Arts Center at 6 o'clock and again at 8 o'clock this Sunday evening, July the 1st.
Okay.
For the 6 o'clock performance, the doors open at 5:30.
Okay.
And we'd like to have everybody there.
It's an outstanding program and really gets everybody in the mood to celebrate Independence Day 2018. And are you going to be singing over there?
Yes, I am part of the choir.
Oh, well, that makes it all the better.
Oh, bless you, thank you. We haven't been able to do it for several years, and I'm really, really glad to see it back.
All right. Well, Linda, thank you so much. We'll tell everybody to get on over to the King Fine Arts Center this coming Sunday, July 1st. Patriotic program, first performance at 6 p.m. Linda, God bless you so much. Thank you.
And God bless you too, Zeb. Thank you very much.
All right. Lovely, lovely lady right there, and I appreciate that. Way to get into the spirit of what this great country is all about. Absolutely. You know, I received this information about how the Democratic Party has become the party of violence. Now, think about those words. The Democratic Party has become the party of violence. Violence against Republicans and conservatives is on the rise. There is no doubt about that. And Democrats and their mainstream media allies are encouraging it. And I have the proof right here in front of me. It's resulting in real-world confrontations. Hold on, caller. I'll be right with you. Stand by. A recent string of incidents should make every American pause and reflect on the direction that the Democratic Party is pushing this country further and further to the left and to violence. Last week, of course, you're aware of what happened to Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen being chased out of a restaurant. Sarah Sanders, of course, asked to leave a restaurant with her family. Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi accosted outside of a movie theater where she was harassed and spit upon. And then senior DHS official found a burnt, decapitated animal carcass on his home porch in Washington, D.C. And then this week, a mob swarmed senior White House policy advisor Stephen Miller's home carrying posters, wanted posters, with Miller's name and face on the posters. This is completely out of hand. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. You know, there's something else I don't understand. President Trump has the power to shut that border down in 5 minutes. And the reason he can do it is this country is being invaded by what I call undocumented insurgents, people invading our country. We don't know who they are. and they're getting stronger and stronger. And there's going to be an outbreak of violence in this country against the American people because of this bunch of invaders.
No, I agree with you. Let me ask you something, Tony, and think back. I'll just pick, let's say 30 years ago. Let's go 30 years ago, and we would not have had the toxic problem on the border that we're having today. Would you agree with that or not?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We had control of our borders then, and this all depends on who's leading the country at the time.
Absolutely.
We had a destructive individual, Barack Obama, for 8 years that has done so much damage to this country, and it's going to take years and years to repair.
Oh, I agree. I agree totally. And he's not finished yet. Behind the scenes, this man is still stirring the pot for the very liberalized Democratic Party to do what they're doing today.
Well, Zeb, we have fairgrounds in every city. And I think it's going to be important for the people to have their own conservative people that have their big meetings come together at these fairgrounds, even if it costs $10 to get in to get speakers in.
Yeah.
We need to do this.
I agree with you, and the concepts of what you talk about on the program, I absolutely stand behind. I just wonder if the American public is so laid back and relaxed in their own living right now that they don't care about what's happening in this country.
They don't understand what's taking control in this country and how many freedoms they're going to lose.
I agree.
I'm not aware of that yet.
I agree. Tony, the blessings to you and Mary. I hope that everything is well with both of you, our dear friends. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. I'm going to read a little bit more from this report that was put together by Media Research, and we'll talk about that momentarily, and more calls are welcome at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Well, I have a moment. I want to tell you about Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. And the number to call, 678-1191. And believe me, call that number. Make an appointment. They've got all the highly trained physical therapists there that know all the exercises, and they've got the hydrotherapy pool. It's all there to help you get back to being you. Absolutely. That number again, 678-1191. Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. Please, please, I urge you to call that number today. I want to also remind you that, of course, next week, Independence Day, with the great big 4th of July celebrations going on all over, and especially in the Rupert area. My. And the businesses over there invite you to come on over and enjoy all the fun, including Snyder Surplus at 116 South, 200 West of Rupert. They've got it all. I mean, they've got a broad spectrum of items, all the way from ammunition to desks and chairs, wall lockers, and they've got all the blankets and the ponchos. They've got it all for you at Snyder Surplus. If you need it, you're going to find it at Snyder Surplus, 116 South, 200 West of Rupert. And also our dear friend Senator Kelly Anthon. God bless him. What a great guy. He invites you over to enjoy all the festivities and especially help celebrate Rupert's 4th of July celebration with the great food and the fireworks and the horse racing and so much more. It's a great family time. So remember, all those great businesses inviting you to Rupert's 4th of July celebration. Thank you very much. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Along with what's going on in this country, WikiLeaks, listen to this, WikiLeaks released, and Antifa, you know, the group that always wants to start more trouble. Hold on, caller, just a minute. Promoted the names and the contact information, of at least 9,000 ICE agents over the weekend. This is absolutely pitiful. Putting those public servants and all their families at risk. And then we can't forget when Republican congressmen were shot by a left-wing activist as they played baseball a year ago. And Steve Scalise fought for his life, and now he's getting, again, death threats. from the left. This is insane. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. The phrase freedom of speech has come a long ways, and it's been divided in so many different directions. Like when you and I went to school, grade school, it didn't mean that you could talk about your neighbor or anything else like that because you didn't do it. It just meant you didn't say damn or hell or any vulgarity words like that. And now, the millenniums that we have, where did they learn this language from? They learned it from their parents.
Well, not only that, Keith, but they're learning it highly unfortunately, if you can put those two words together. They're learning it from the likes of so-called media people like Bill Maher, filthy mouth on television. They're learning it from others that stand up and yell and scream on the TVs. They're learning it from so-called comedians like Griffin and others. And the filthy mouth, potty mouth people are becoming so prevalent. How do you get away from it?
Well, it's a terrible situation we're having there because each one of those comedians or so-called comedians will push the envelope as far as they can and see if they can get away with it. And if they can, then next time it's that much worse.
It is. I agree with you. And right now I'm pointing my finger and I'm slamming the Democratic Party this morning because the Democrats, and all of these people that are so liberalized into contempt against the rest of us that are conservative Christians, they are now getting, and they have to be getting, their marching orders from some of the highest-ranking Democrat officials in the land. And people like Congresswoman Maxine Waters are encouraging all of this filth.
Yeah, and this woman that has just been nominated for the Democratic Party to fill the shoes of that Joe, I can't think of what his name is, but anyway, he was very high up in the party and expected to be the Speaker of the House if the Democrats won. This gal is a right socialist.
Well, she is the one you're talking about, the 28-year-old. Just a minute, Keith. The 28-year-old that you're talking about back in New York City, absolutely, it was a shock to the system of the Democrats to have a socialist beat this other person by such a wide margin because her stance was that she wanted everything free and given and paid for by the government. Of course, she's not smart enough to understand the taxpayers have to fund that and will keep on a excessive funding for all of her silly, frivolous, stupid socialist attitudes.
I would say that she comes from the poorest part of, I think it is New York, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes.
Anyway, it's in the ghetto, where these people are used to free things, and they want more of them, and so they all voted for her.
I would love to have a candidate by either party stand up and start really extolling the virtues of developing a work ethic, developing a career ethic, and trying to achieve on the merits and the abilities that God gave you or everyone else. I'm sick and tired of the handouts. I'm sick and tired of the tin cup attitude. I'm sick and tired of the laziness that's being pervaded in this country.
And getting back to this flag situation, just adding to it, I should say, is the fact that when Flying J recognized the fact that their flag was getting a little teared or torn or something like that, that was the time to reorder a new one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not when some trucker tells them it's time to take it down.
Yeah, I'm really upset about this flag situation, and I voiced my opinion about that yesterday. Possibly I'll do it again next Tuesday. Keith, thank you for your call this morning. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You bet.
Absolutely appreciate it. Yeah, I talked about Congresswoman. I hate to even call her a Congresswoman. That just irritates me that she is representing Americans, and that's Maxine Waters. She's been encouraging this climate of intimidation and violence in this country. And as you know, she told supporters this past weekend that if they see anybody, and I'm quoting now, see anyone that from the cabinet in a restaurant, talking about the Trump cabinet, or in a department store, or at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd and you push back on them. That is such an insightful, violent situation that could absolutely deteriorate, and there could be the harming of people's health and their well-being. She should be thrown out of the House of Representatives, and I'm going to do my utmost to denigrate and damn her every time I get on the air. I don't think this woman is of sound mind, and she should not be representing anyone in this United States of America. And then you've got the problem with the idiots, and that's what they are, low-class, low-educated actors, many of them, in Hollywood. Many of them never graduated from high school. Liberal celebrities are also doing all they can to inflame this violence that's going on right now. Last week, Peter Fonda tweeted, "We should rip," and here's the quote, "We should rip Barron Trump from his mother's arms and put him in a cage with pedophiles and see if his mother will stand up against the giant expletive she is married to." Low class, no class, Democratic left. What are your thoughts? Somebody said, they called me again yesterday, and they said, "Are you worried about losing a portion of your audience here because of your denigration?" I'll use the word they used to me, of the Democrats. And I said, no, I'm not. And the reason is, if they have class at all, they'll go after their own party. They will go after their own kind and try to clean it up. And instead of sitting back and allowing and accepting this idiocy and filth. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget Barry Equipment and Rental Sales, Service, and Parts, 159 West Highway 30 in Burley with Juan, 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin with Eli, and the Nampa location. And it's true, all your equipment rentals and all your retail equipment sales. Absolutely. They've got event rentals, they've got even coffee pot rentals over there. So, and I'll tell you, retail equipment sales, you want to check it out. They've got all the Bobcat excavators, new and used, for sale or rent, all shapes and sizes. Excellent people to work with. Barry Equipment and Rental, Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa. You get a hold of them today. Absolutely. Caller, I'll be right there. Please do not leave. I want to remind everybody, too, on Tuesdays at 9:47, we have the Stotz Equipment Ag Minute. Stotz Equipment Company, of course, your John Deere dealer at 119 Overland in Burley. Excellent people serving you. Stotz Equipment Company, your John Deere dealer. They make your life easier. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Mr. Bell. You know, we have had 8 years of Barack Obama and his crappy establishment decimating the country. What we need to do is get rid of the Maxine Waters, the Nancy Pelosi's, and all the Chuck Schumers that are inciting people to attack and harass all of Trump's cabinet. Come on. Maxine Waters needs to be strung up by her toes.
Well, now, how would you like, and caller number 2, stay on the line for a minute. I want Donna to respond to this. Donna, you and I both have, and I'm going to be very blunt and very polite at the same time, both of us were gifted with a temper that can go from cool to red hot in about 2 seconds, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you're at a gasoline station, or if you're at a restaurant with George, and somebody started circling your table and chanting and literally almost spitting on your food and demanding that you leave the restaurant, I don't know how cool I would be under that situation without somebody wearing one of my aluminum crutches over their ears.
Well, I don't have aluminum crutches, but I do have a foot and I do have a fist. And, you know, if the establishment that they're in doesn't stand up and make those people leave,
that's right.
then I wouldn't go back.
There's the point right there. That's the point right there, and I'm so glad you said it. Where is the management? Where is the establishment owners? Where is the decency of going into that restaurant, minding your own business, and then be accosted by these Democrats?
Yeah, you know, I'm not even sure that if I wasn't just another patron, if I wouldn't stand up and defend those people that were being harassed, for them to be, you know, booed and harassed and you know, have to leave their meal, that's just totally wrong. Where are we as Americans that we are allowing this crap to continue?
Amen. Excellent points this morning, Donna. God bless you. We heard from George earlier. He's having way too much fun. He better bring you back a good present.
He better.
Okay. Hey, by the way, my dear, there is a rumor circulating that you are having a birthday on Sunday, so happy birthday.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be 66 this year.
You're still a spring chicken. All right. God bless you, Donna.
Dear. You have a wonderful day, my friend.
All right. Thank you very much. Caller number 2, I'll be there in a moment. Please, I got to pay the bills. I want to tell everybody about the Bennett Boys auction service. Whoa, man, they put on some good sales. This Saturday, they're going to have the Clark auction at 11 o'clock up in Fairfield. That's right, 150 North Soldier Road, 1/2 mile north of the city center. It's going to be a ripping good sale with tractors and snowcats and guns and ammo and reloading systems and antiques and collectibles and a lot of tools and miscellaneous. All of this and more at the Clark auction this Saturday, June 30th at 11 o'clock at Fairfield. Don't miss it. Follow the signs. Be there. It's managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. Joe Bennett and the crew, 539-0111. The Bennett Boys. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys can sell them all. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. How are you?
Good, sir.
Good. You know, I was just thinking, talking about with lefties and everything that they're doing as far as harassing people, intimidating people and stuff like that. Don't they have enough brain matter that they realize that the more they're doing that are detrimental like that, it's going to shoot their chances down for any kind of election in 2018?
You know,
or even way beyond.
I don't think so. I really thought about what you're saying, and I've thought about it for the last couple of days. I don't understand why the leadership of the so-called Democratic Party doesn't sit down and say, wait a minute, we're creating an image of hate and violence, and pretty quick people are going to say, whoa, if we vote for the Democrats, we're going to have a lot of bad things going on in this country. It's going to be utter chaos. But the Democrats, I think, are not smart enough to understand that.
And just beyond comprehension to even think of why they got into that mindset. I can't even fathom why they believe that way.
Well, it's not just the mindset, though, sir, my dear friend. It's the application. And what they're doing to try to be scaremongers to other people, and what they're doing to issue threats, and what they're saying as far as calling our president and the administration and supporters Nazis. If somebody came up and called me a Nazi, I'm telling you straight up, sir, I'm going to deck them.
I would. Absolutely. Give him a good old German haymaker.
I'm not advocating violence, but I will not be talked to that way. I went through enough when Obama was running for president the first time with these liberal loon Democrats that live here in this area, and I made a promise to myself I will never take that again from these people that absolutely live in a cesspool with their ideas and their ideology.
Yes, and there's one thing you just mentioned yourself. When you talk to somebody that they were wondering if you were afraid of losing any of your not viewership, but listenership and everything with what you say, don't change a thing. You're right on the nail head. you've got a heck of a lot more people who are standing beside you than you think.
I agree with that, and I'm going to support them. A long time ago, somebody had said to me, oh, well, you've got to be middle of the road. You don't want to be this way or that way. You'll cost yourself an audience. I've got to be honest. And I told this person, no, I'm going to state my opinion, and if people don't like it, they can turn off the radio.
Stay the course, Ed. That's all I can say.
Thank you, sir. God bless you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You bet. Have a great day.
All right, sir. Yeah, there's no defending what's happening right now as far as I'm concerned. And whether it's the media with the low pond scums of, I'm trying to think of the guy's name. I've got it right here on MSNBC. All of a sudden his name escapes me, and I can't remember. I think it's, help me. All of a sudden his name left me, and I had a complete story on him this morning. Chris Matthews, one of the lowest of the low on MSNBC, along with Kamala Harris and some of the absolute I don't know, jackass things that they say. I'm just going to say it that way. They're like braying jackasses. And if somebody doesn't like that terminology, that's your problem, not mine. I am so sick and tired of the confrontations that they're trying to brew up. And eventually, someone is going to get hurt, or even worse. I fear for that. Caller, please, I really appreciate your being on the phone. I've got to get a weather forecast in. Sit back, take a deep breath, and I'll be with you in 60 seconds, I promise. Don't forget our wonderful friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Oh, Dr. Pickup, Dr. Mitchell, compassionate audiologists that are so skilled and they know so much about hearing health. Please schedule an appointment today to get in there. They're right behind the Minidoka Hospital, across from the emergency room, and the number to call, 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
It's going to be nice and relatively mild as far as weather is concerned, considering the high temperatures that we had yesterday. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting mostly sunny skies for today. A little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the west, right around 15 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 30 miles an hour. And we are expecting a high of 78. Tonight, mostly clear skies. The winds will continue out of the west-southwest. Gusts high as 25 miles an hour. Expecting a low of 52 tomorrow. Sunny, still breezy, high of 72 for Friday night. Mostly clear skies with a low of 50. By Saturday, sunny and 75 clear skies for Saturday night with a low of 51. For Sunday, sunny skies in 82, and as we look ahead towards Monday, looks like sunny skies in mid-80s. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina. Gina does, and doesn't get enough credit. She does a very nice job on that weather. Thank you very much. Don't forget Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. As I've stated, the number to call, 312-0957. They can help all of you, whether you're a little bitty baby or kind of an older person like me. They can help all of us with our hearing health. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Caller, thank you for your patience. Good morning.
Yes, it's just me again, Zeb. My suspicious mind tells me that the likes of Maxine Waters, Pelosi, and Schumer are nothing more than mouthpieces for somebody like George Soros. I think that's where a lot of our problems are.
No, I can't agree more. I mean, there's a lot of money, there's a lot of instigation behind the scenes, behind the curtains, or whatever you want to say, Tony, and I agree with you. But I think it goes without saying, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to emphasize it. I think the Democratic Party paints itself as the party of tolerance, but in its desperation to fight back and resist Donald Trump, it's become the party of violence. Would you disagree with that?
Oh, no, I totally agree with you. And they're trying to sweeten up their pie to feed to the younger generation. But the younger generation is going to find out that at some point, a foreign government's going to take this country over, and I'm saying they're going to be from the Middle East, and they're going to be curfews, and these people are going to be told where to go, what religion to use, and their life is going to be totally changed. And this may not happen to another 20 or 30 years, but presently, the way things are going, it will happen.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll stand behind what I said a few moments ago. And again, if this offends somebody, just really analyze what was said. When you're going down a road of threats and violence and name-calling of people Nazis, etc., the Democrats had better start waking up, and people that are in control, supposedly, of the Democratic Party, they better say, wait a minute, whoa, stop the bus. We got to change direction. We're going down the gutter, and they are.
Well, the children that are in our early years in school and the ones in college are going to be attacked constantly if this stuff doesn't start.
I agree with you. Tony, I'm glad you called back. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
buddy.
Bye.
Thank you. Don't forget, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I was talking to another good friend on the phone last night, and we kind of got off on this subject about the left and where they're headed, what they say, what they call people, their threats and everything. And it's really kind of prominent right here even. There are many that live here. Then they'll always, like I've said many times on this program, they'll issue threats and they'll say things and they'll call me after the program. After the program. It's almost like, someone might recognize my voice on the air. Ooh, I'll be a timid little coward and I'll call Zeb after he's off. And then I'll just chew on him. Such gutless people. Don't forget what's going on over at the Jerome. Rupert, I got to get the right city and get the right time. I'm all worked up. 4th of July, schedule of events for the Rupert 4th of July celebration. America, let's celebrate. Well, I gave the plug to the wrong place. Anyway, don't forget it starts this Saturday, June 30th, with that great big Christmas lighting breakfast on the square starting at 6 in the morning. Y'all get up, be there. And then, of course, every night they're going to have music in the gazebo right there in the city park on the square. Fireworks, horse racing at the fairgrounds, and Firecracker 500 lawnmower races, so much more. All the fun for you and your family with the theme America, let's celebrate at the 2018 4th of July celebration in Rupert. Everybody try to be there. Got time for one more call. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Give me a call. By the way, good news, real quick, want to say this. Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy is retiring at the end of next month, July 30th, and doing it with a lot of class. An 81-year-old gentleman, Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy, going to be retiring on July 31st, and this will open the door, hopefully, for more conservative constitutional appointments, and it's about time. It's about time. But I would like to say that this man, Anthony Kennedy, whether I agreed with some of his statements, some of his rulings on the Supreme Court or not, 81 years old, retiring, and he's doing it with the class of an individual that really is looking at this situation as nonpartisan. I have a lot of respect for him. I want to say thank you to our great big sponsor. Absolutely. And these are my friends. I mean, I know every one of these people, and they are just wonderful people. All 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They care, they work for you, and they provide the best of service. If you're getting ready for a road trip, I urge you to go in there and check out all the tires for your car, pickup, SUV, horse trailer, boat trailer, camp trailer. I don't care what kind of tires you need, they've got the best. And all the different tread designs for your kind of driving. Stop in today, and don't forget to the best of brake service, and I mean that. Along with front-end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries, all there with Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family and Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland in Burley. There is no one better. No, the best. Your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Coming up next hour, we're going to have our Chamber of Commerce report with rapid fire Sarah Seymour. I love that lady. She really gets to it. Then at 9:17, we've got our Cassia Regional Hospital. 9:25, we're going to be talking to Jeff over at Lee's Furniture. 9:30, the lovely Rita Ramsey on the air talking all things political. So we've got another real big hour coming up in just a few moments. Once again, quickly, the patriotic program Sunday, July 1st, this weekend, King Fine Arts Center, 2 performances, 6 and 8 p.m., free admission. Be there, please, and celebrate America. Now, we're going to turn this... Wills, how are you this morning? What's happening over there? Are you still alive running the switches or what?
I am, of course. I keep peeping out the window every now and again to look at the sun and how nice it looks outside. I might take like a minute break during the news and just get some vitamin D. Just
don't roll down the ramp so you can't get back.
Don't speak too soon, Zeb.
It's happened before, I know.
I know, and that bungee idea for Winter still, it's still in the back of my head.
There you go.
I need to figure something out for summer, though, too, sometimes.
All right, I got to run, but we're going to turn it over to you to go to CBS News. We'll be back in about 7 minutes. Good morning on a Thursday, and I'm Zeb Bell, Zeb at the Ranch, and we say thank you to our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you. Get ready for a big road trip. You stop in and see them today, along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Wheels, how about right now we find out more about the Silver State Stampede?
PRCA Rodeo Action thunders into Elko, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. 3 big days for the 2018 Silver State Stampede. Nevada's oldest rodeo is family entertainment at its finest. This PRCA rodeo brings you the thrill of pro riders going head-to-head in one of the toughest sports in the world. Action kicks off Friday, July 13th with mutton busting, a delicious tri-tip dinner, the Calcutta, Old West bronc riding, PRCA rodeo action, the world-famous Ring of Fear, and dancing to the Jeff Palmer Band. Gates open on Friday and Saturday at 4 with mutton busting starting at 6 and rodeo action starting at 7. And on Sunday, gates open at noon with mutton busting at 1 and the rodeo action starting at 2. Tickets on sale now at the Boot Barn and the Elko Chamber office. Rodeo action at its finest. With the 2018 Silver State Stampede, July 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Elko County Fairgrounds. For more information, contact SilverStateStampede.com.
Thank you very much, and also we'd like to say a great big thank you to our wonderful advertisers, and they've been here for a long time. Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, and Joel Heward, his family, and his staff serving you. You know, they're going to have, like they have for many, many years, a great big breakfast on the morning of the 4th of July next week, right there at the Hanson Mortuary, I believe out in the parking lot. Delicious food, and they've started this many, many years ago, and they invite you to be in attendance. Just one more way they serve the community and say thank you to the community. Don't forget Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, and Joel Heward also serving you at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Right now, we're going to go to the telephone line, and here she is. Stand back. Hold on to something. Rapid fire. Sarah Seymour with the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. How are you?
Good. How are you today, Zeb?
Absolutely fantabulous. What's cooking over at the Chamber?
Oh, it's going to be a busy, busy week here at the Chamber. Tomorrow, Friday, June 29th, Mini-Cassia's Got Talent is going to be happening at the historic Wilson Theater in Rupert. That show's from 7:30 to 9:30. It's going to be great. Come out and support your community. We're looking forward to it.
That should be a lot of fun.
It certainly will. Also tomorrow, PMT is doing their customer appreciation from 11 o'clock until 1:30. and it's at their Rupert location at 507 G Street. So come on out and show PMT your support. They are a great asset to our community, and we really appreciate them.
Okay, now, what else is going on, Sarah? I'm sure you have a litany of things to tell us about.
I do. So on Saturday kicks off the 4th of July festivities for our area, especially in Rupert. Saturday at 6 a.m. is their Christmas in July breakfast. They have activities all throughout the day, food booths, Sound of Freedom in the park, and the fireworks are going off in Rupert that evening, Saturday evening. If you're looking for some more 4th of July festivities throughout that whole weekend, Burley will be doing their fireworks at the boat docks on the 4th of July, and Albion will also be having fireworks on the 4th up at Albion Airport Road. There's festivities all through in the whole area. If you need any more information, please go to our website, www.minicajachamber.com. Check out our events calendar. We have all the details listed on there.
Surely you're not finished.
Well, I've only got just a couple more things I want to tell you about today. If you're not into fireworks on the 4th of July, head on over to the Cassia County Fairgrounds for the richest one-day rodeo. Starts at 7 p.m. and goes to support the Mini-Cassia Youth Football League, High School Rodeo, and the Burley Public Library. So go on over and catch a good rodeo.
Sarah, how many books can you read in a week? I would imagine 30's not out of the question if you speed read like you talk.
I am a pretty quick reader, but we're so busy here, I have not had a chance to read a book in a while.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to say? Because I'm working up a sweat just listening to you.
Oh, my goodness. We have so many activities planned for the summer. If you are, anytime you are looking for something to do, head on over to our website, check out our events calendar, stop in and see us here at the Chamber, check out our visitor center. And we just love to see you out and about. And if you see me anywhere, flag me down. I'd love to meet you.
Let me ask you this, though. I've had a lot of people that have, over the years, mentioned that your gift shop over there at the Chamber is very unique. Would you highlight some of the things over there quickly?
Absolutely. We always have our area maps and publications that you can get here, but we do have some specialized Idaho candies. We got our Idaho Spuds, Idaho keychains. We also have the Amalgamated Sugar Shack, so you can get our amalgamated sugar items, the Pour Some Sugar on Me apron, and that kind of thing. We got some Idaho potato pins from the Potato Commission. It's just a lot of fun. If you haven't had a chance to stop by, we would love to have you in.
Now, I should tell the public that you and I have never met before, and one of these days I've got to stop in because I'm impressed. Sarah, you do a wonderful job. I bet you start practicing this at 6 in the morning, don't you?
I'd like to think I did.
Okay. Sarah Seymour with the Mini-Cassia Chamber of Commerce. God bless you, and have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Zeb. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. I love that lady. She does a great, great job. Hey, don't forget, too, our friends over to Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street near Connection Credit Union in Heyburn. Oh, my goodness sakes. Dr. Bill, Dr. Jordan, the whole crew, my goodness sakes. What educations with taking care of animals. They know, big or small, they take care of them all right there at Ark Animal Hospital. That's right, from itty-bitty kitty cats all the way up to the great big dairy cows. They can and they will help you and your animals. Stay healthy. Absolutely. Ark Animal Hospital, 750 21st Street, as I said, over in Heyburn. The number to call, 678-1177. They do have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Everybody by this time should know that on Tuesdays every week during the summer, we have the lovely Miss Vicky over at Vicky's Country Garden at 185 South 600 West of Paul on the program. And we talk about gardening. We talk about what to do with the garden, how to grow the garden, keeping rid of all the pests and everything. She does a phenomenal job. Vicky at Vicky's Country Garden, celebrating 21 years in business at 185 South 600 West of Paul. The number to call, 438-5663. Let me see what else have I got cooking here that I need to get on the air quickly. I want to remind you again, and this may be one of the last times I get a chance to mention it today, that the patriotic program will be Sunday, July 1st, at the King Fine Arts Center in Burley. And they're going to have two performances, one at 6 and one at 8. And they say on the list here, admission is free to listen to some of the greatest singing and music for patriotism. And that's going to be on Sunday, July 1st at the King Fine Arts Center. Don't you miss it. Get in the mood, please. It's going to be exceptionally good. Want to remind you, too, about Let's Ride. Oh, my goodness sakes, yes. Nick and the whole crew over there, Randy, and out in the service department, Tyson, what great folks they are. At Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturdays, 9 to 4. And I'm telling you, they've got all the ATVs. They've got everything over there. I mean, the side-by-sides, they've got all the watercrafts. You're going to walk into that showroom and say, how did they get everything in here? Along with a great big huge accessory department and a service department, Tyson and the folks out there that can keep you running and having fun. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24 between Rupert and the World, and this is where the fun is sold. Absolutely. Let me see. I got to tell you a little bit about what's going to go on for the rest of this hour. We're in just a moment going to have Cassia Regional Hospital on the air. Then we're going to have Jeff Bronson from Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More, and the lovely Rita Ramsey at 9:30 with kind of a political highlight and low light as to what's taken place over the last couple of days. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Right now, Wheels is over at our main studio, and we are ready to learn more about the great people that serve you at Cassia Regional Hospital.
People caring about you and your health care in the most professional and progressive ways. That's Cassia Regional Hospital, located at 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. In a moment, we'll introduce you to just one of the many dedicated medical experts serving you at Cassia Regional Hospital. Today's program, right after this. Cassia Regional Hospital provides you and your family excellent health care answers and services. They're right here, close to home. That's right. Cassia Regional Hospital offers the latest technological advances in medicine, like their new oncology programs and telehealth, which uses electronic information and telecommunications to promote long-distance patient and clinical health care. Your friends, your neighbors. Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care, close to home. Right now, more of the great and very well-educated and knowledgeable folks with Cassia Regional Hospital and also Intermountain Home Care and Hospice. And we're on the line with Marcy Bedke. Good morning, Marcy. Tell us your title and what exactly do you do?
Well, I'm a licensed social worker with Intermountain Home Care and Hospice, and I serve both our home health program and our hospice program.
Well, give me a little information. When we talk about hospice programs, what does that mean? I mean, kind of give me, instead of the scientific and medical language, tell me in layman's terms, what does that mean to help serve the public?
Well, with regard to hospice, I know that Melinda will be speaking further about that, but it basically is serving those who are at end of life.
And you do a lot of work with what's called the advance directives, which means what?
So an advance directive is any determinations that you make in advance. So we're going to be talking specifically about making determinations regarding our health care in advance.
Like having a living will or papers that would signify such? Explain that, please.
The living will is the first part of the document that we assist our families with, and this gives patients the ability to make decisions regarding their treatment, to tell their families what their wishes are, whether or not they would want to have resuscitation, whether or not they would want artificial fluids or food. And so, it's really personal. They make these decisions based on their values, their attitudes, their current illness, their feelings about death, and this is something we can just talk through with each person we come in contact with to determine what their wishes are.
How do you go about getting people to open up on this information? I know that dying is a part of life, but yet people don't want to accept that. I mean, it sometimes could be a little hard to break the ice, is it not?
Sometimes. It used to be much more difficult than it seems to be now. Everybody's awareness has increased. I remember when I first started doing this, I would use the example of how people felt about obtaining life insurance. In the past, to talk about life insurance, people didn't want to do that because then something was surely going to happen. And so in likening it to that, they can see, where the insecurity is and where the irrationality is. And so just helping people just talk through what they want, and helping them formulate their wishes, and oftentimes in front of their family, just helps put them on a path where they feel secure.
Now, I would assume that most of the people that you talk to, and please correct me if I'm wrong, they are patients in a hospital, or do people call you and try to make an appointment to come see you about this? Give us that kind of explanation, if you would.
As a home health agency, this is one of our most important roles that we fill as social workers. We make it available to any home health or hospice family that we are involved with, but we also extend it to the whole community. So we've tried to get that word out to the community. If you'd like us to come to your home or you'd like to come into the office, we'll sit down, we'll explain things thoroughly. It takes about 5 minutes to fill out the paperwork. The discussion can take as long as people require, but the paperwork is not cumbersome. It's very easy. And we also assist everyone we help with this process to see that it's scanned into their permanent medical record. We encourage them to have copies and share them with their family and have a very open discussion with them about what their wishes are.
Let me ask you this. When they come to see you or you see them at their hospital bed or whatever the case might be, do you try to make sure that another family member is there as perhaps maybe giving them not only support but providing information?
Yes. We always encourage family support in a conversation like this because it really opens up for the family a discussion that's very difficult for them to take on by themselves. So they appreciate our involvement. And the second part of the process, besides determining these are my wishes, this is what I want, is to choose an individual to be their durable power of attorney for home care. And this can be, a close family member or friend, and they're able to also list alternates. So, if Mom for some reason can't continue in that role for Dad, then we've got, 2 or 3 other people listed that could be able to fill that role.
I would imagine, Marcy, that most people, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, most people, when they've gone through the process, even though there might have been some trepidation at first, a lot of people are very thankful after it's over, correct?
Absolutely. It's done. It's in the drawer. They don't have to worry about it anymore. But, if they change their mind, they can do that. If they change their mind, they just complete a new document, and that supersedes the one before.
Absolutely. Now, what else about what you do with Intermountain Home Care and Hospice would you like the general public to know?
Well, another thing that we offer to our patients and their families, as well as the entire community, is our bereavement education support group. And we hold that 2 times a year, and it runs for about 6 weeks. We have a very interesting and helpful curriculum, and the opportunity to visit with others that have had loss is just very valuable. And that will be held again in the fall, and we'll get the word out on that.
All right, Marcy, now tell my audience exactly, if they have questions regarding all the information we've just talked about, what is the best phone number and the times to call you?
We're available in our office from 8 to 5. Our phone number is 678-8844.
We've been talking to Marcy Bedke with Intermountain Home Care and Hospice, and another one of the great people working in connection with the Cassia Regional Hospital right here on Zeb at the Ranch. Tune in every Thursday at 9:18 right here on Zeb at the Ranch for more about the people and the healthcare services at your Cassia Regional Hospital, 1501 Highland Avenue in Burley. Quality care close to home.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful people. And when you mention wonderful people, that leads me to another gentleman that's ready to go on the air this morning, and he is at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Jeff Bronson, good morning. How are you?
Give me like 30 seconds.
No, not more than that. Let's go real fast. And he should be ready to go at 459 Overland in Burley. And we're going to talk to Jeff just briefly before we go to Rita Ramsey in just a second with more on the program for this morning. And coming up, don't forget, too, next hour, we've got Cassia County School Days, and retiring Superintendent Galen Smyer is going to be on the line with us. And then, of course, at 10:30, one of the favorite programs, the Old Fishing Hole. Wheels, do we have him on the line?
Yeah, they're still trying to find him.
Oh, okay. Once again, I want to remind you that as we lead into the Rupert 4th of July celebration this next week, don't forget, everybody, that patriotic program at the King Fine Arts Center this Sunday, July 1st, and the first performance, there's going to be two, 6 and 8 p.m. Is LeGrand there, Wheels? Let's try and get him real quick, okay? And I lost Wheels. I love live radio sometimes.
Yes,
all right. Good morning, Jeff. Are you on the air?
I'm here.
Oh, my goodness. The lost is found. How are you, my dear friend?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Really good. What's going on over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More?
Well, Zeb, I appreciate you calling and asking. You know, we have some great specials going right now, and so especially in our floor covering right now, we have a number of rolls of carpet that we've just received, that we have some additional discounts above and beyond our typical sales. We are basically emptying out our warehouse, and any extra rolls, any part rolls, and so forth, we've got some great discounts. And we've received some new shipments of our luxury vinyl plank flooring. That is that waterproof flooring that is so popular right now. We have all of this in stock. It's a great opportunity.
So you're saying waterproof. So a guy like me that spills a lot, it would be good for me?
Yeah, it would be good for you and your family. You know, you can install it yourself. Many of them you can glue down, or you can. It's just has a locking system. If you spill water, it's not going to damage it in any way, and so it's great for a kitchen, for a dining room, for a bathroom, anywhere where you have moisture.
A lot of people are going to have a lot of family members over next week for the Independence Day, 4th of July celebration. What about furniture? Tell us something.
Yeah, so we as you and I have talked about, we've received 3 new shipments of recliners. These are recliners that are for men, for women, everybody in between. Many of them have the motorized power mechanism, so they're very easy to operate. We've received in many colors, many styles. And with this new shipment of recliners, many of these chairs as low as $299, $399. And so we've got a price and a size for everybody.
So you could sit really in the recliner and turn the handle on the ice cream maker on the 4th of July.
Or put the chair on the deck and watch the fireworks.
There you go. What else is happening over there at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More?
Well, we have a special on our mattresses right now. We have our summer introduction on a number of new styles of beds. Right now, you can get a pocketed coil mattress queen size, for $299.
Whoa.
This is a limited supply, and so for those that may have company coming from out of town, you need that extra bed, come and take a look at this bed. It's fabulous, it's comfortable, and with that pocketed coil, you do get that therapeutic feel for anybody who does have a specific feel or need for for their mattress.
And one thing, too, I really would like to highlight the excellent staff over there at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More, really knowledgeable people.
Well, thank you. We have LeGrand and Morgan who help primarily in the floor covering. They can answer any questions. We have Hillary and Emily and Darren with furniture and with design questions. And we'd love to help anybody that has any needs as far as matching paint or cabinets or flooring. We can help put all of that together, and they provide wonderful service.
Well, with all that excellent staff, what do you do? Just sit in the chair and put your feet up on the desk?
I can't seem to get off the phone, Zeb.
Hey, Jeff, God bless you and your family, and I hope you have a wonderful Independence Day this next week, the 4th of July celebration. Everybody stop in and see these great folks at Lee's Furniture, Floors and More at 459 Overland in Burley. Jeff, thank you so much.
And thank you, Zeb. Thank you for visiting with us.
All right, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Right now, I want to remind you, too, about our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Oh, the number to call, make an appointment. They can help you with all your life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, employee benefits, and so much more. They are dedicated and responsive to your needs. 436-4424, Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. Holy cow, good morning, Rita Ramsey. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. Thank you.
Well, I am so glad you're on the air this morning. We have got a plethora of things to talk about, and I want to start, first of all, with the retiring, which kind of came as a shock somewhat, Supreme Court Justice Anthony Kennedy. What are your thoughts?
Well, I thought it was quite interesting how after they had come down with that ruling the first of the week, and he kind of scolded, and it sounded like he was like, if you think I'm going to retire so you can appoint somebody, you're crazy. And then all of a sudden, there it is. It was kind of stunning, the way that it came about. But I'm guessing, and this is just me, I don't know. I'm guessing that he probably told his associates that he would be retiring and gave him a little bit more voice to voice his opinion, even though he'd try to stay somewhat neutral in a lot of areas, him being the swing vote generally, and a lot of times it went against the conservative vote.
Yes.
So.
Here's my feeling, and I want to see if you agree or disagree with me. I'm very prejudiced in what I'm going to say. I am looking forward to the appointing of conservative constitutional appointees that might be selected for this position on the Supreme Court. Because I'm going to say it's about time that the left, they're going to have their hair on fire over this, but it's about time we return to the value system that made this country great. Would you agree or disagree?
Oh, no, absolutely. In fact, it's been probably about 10 or 12 years ago. There was a book written, and it's called Men in Black, and it talks about the Supreme Court justices and some of the reasons why it has got so out of hand with their appointments for life. Because the founders, when they decided to do that, the average lifetime was 58 years old or something like that. And it's kind of like, well, they probably won't be there for very long. And now you've got some that are clear up into their 80s, and you wonder if they're even still with us, like Ginsburg. She is a wonder. You just wonder, is she really still there? Maybe she's really active and just a go-getter. I don't know, but it just kind of makes you wonder, because half the time you see her, she's sitting there asleep.
Yeah.
And there are many justices over the years that have really been a detriment to the board, rather than making some decisions. There was one, I think it was Thurgood Marshall, probably about 30 or 40 years ago.
Yes.
Anyways, when he started going dementia-ish, they would wait until he wasn't there to decide and vote, because they knew that his vote was not based on what he knew, because he wasn't really all there, and yet there wasn't any kind of a mandate or why don't you step down, or get a hold of his family and say, hey, step down, and so we can get somebody that knows the Constitution and will give us a good decision on this.
Absolutely. We have a caller with a question. I'm going to ask them to keep it very brief. Go ahead, caller, please. You're on the air.
So speaking of the Constitution, what do you think about Ted Cruz for Supreme Court Justice?
I'll state my opinion after Rita, but personally, I would not like to see Ted Cruz on the Supreme Court. Rita, do you disagree with me?
Well, with Ted's experience with the Constitution and everything, I would be in favor of that. There are a few others that I would put ahead of him, but anybody would be better than Kennedy, who's on the list. And we actually know what we would get with Ted Cruz. We know what we would get with Mike Lee. Some of the others, it's kind of like, are we going to get a Kennedy who sits in the middle? We should have known with Kennedy, though, because he was from the Ninth Court District, and you all know that's a circus. And so for somebody to come from there, you wouldn't expect that they would be constitutional or conservative.
I will say this, Rita, and I probably shocked you when I said I would not like to see Ted Cruz on the Supreme Court. Here's why. And to the caller, if you're listening, I hope you'll understand. I think that the parameters that would be drawn around a person like Ted Cruz would be too confining. I think he can do more to serve the United States and his constituency and all of us by being a senator than he could be under the confines of the Supreme Court. Would you agree with that somewhat, Rita?
I think that's probably a possibility, and the thing of it is, you get somebody who hasn't been a judge, and just these last few, maybe decades, it's come down to we have to have somebody who's a sitting judge as a Supreme Court justice, and actually I'm coming to think that maybe we need a constitutionalist, not necessarily a judge.
Amen.
Because our judicial system has got so screwed up over the last 30 or 40 years that it's somewhat a circus.
You mentioned the word screwed up, and it's amazing you opened the door for my next part of our conversation, and the vile filth and animosity that's being displayed by the Democrats. Let's just call it like it is. The Democratic Party is becoming unhinged, and they're becoming a party of violence. That is not my choice of words, but that is coming straight from Washington, D.C., and many of the think tanks. They're calling the Democrats absolutely a party of violence. And then it trickles down into the media with MSNBC anchor Chris Matthews saying, "It is a time for vengeance." What is going on here, Rita?
They are just so livid, and it's really sad because they have felt like that they were in charge. Now, this is the media I'm talking about at the moment. The media thinks that they're in charge. In other words, what I say goes, and what we tell you is what you're going to believe, and that's that. And they don't like this social media that people can communicate or get news or facts without them giving it to us. And so they've actually been undermined, and because of it, they are just livid of it. I read an article on a news website that said the media is going to play this as the end of the world, this Justice Kennedy's retirement, which is absolutely right. The media is going absolutely bonkers, and it's really sad. There was a quote in there, and he said, "Anger right now is seen as a form of authenticity. If you're not angry, then it means that you're not authentic." That's a dangerous place to be. And I totally agree with that. They are just way out there, and it's pretty dangerous because we could end up with a lot of violence. It could end up being civil violence.
Yes.
And who knows where it would go.
Well, let me just equate this a little bit with Obama. Where was the anger and the animus against him and his administration when they fast-track deportations for mothers and illegal alien children. I mean, they started all this in their administration. It's not something that was started by Trump. It was something that was started back with the Obama administration, and he took other controversial steps as well, including fighting to block efforts to require unaccompanied children to have legal representation and barring detained mothers with their children from being released on bond. All of this started with the Obama administration, but the hate and the vitriol against Trump, and they're blaming him for something that started with Black Barack Obama's administration.
Well, that's exactly right, and they've, when asked, they admit it. That Jay Johnson, he admits to expanding all of that, and they never took any kind of accountability for it at all. But you have to remember and put forward that it was the media who enabled the Obama administration the whole time with everything. There was no accountability. And remember, the media was the ones who kept Obama informed, because every time he was asked about something, well, I just barely found out on the news.
Yeah. What about the violence aspect? I want to get into this a little bit more, because now this has gone too far. I mean, people that are at restaurants, people that are going into movie theaters, people that are being asked to leave business establishments because they work for the administration, or throwing dead animals on people's private home porches, or making threats and putting their names on wanted posters. This has gone way too far, Rita.
Well, it has, and this is why it makes you wonder where it's going to lead to. It can't be a good place. People have got to start being more civil. I hate to bring this up, but this is the real truth. When we were opposed to the Obama administration and the taxes that were being forced on us, and Common Core and the health care thing and all of that, you didn't see any of the violence or anything. We had some peaceful gatherings and talked about it and tried to get people informed, but there were not gatherings and any kind of violence like has been happening and probably will be happening more so as we go further, and they just get more livid. And it's really sad, because it just shows you what type of people the other side is, when they say, no matter what, we've got to make sure that Trump isn't on the ballot for 2020, and we're going to get him removed. It was like, so how are you going to do that? They're just out there dreaming. They're just so mad that they're not in control, and it's really sad, because it is leading to violence. And yet we were so totally opposed to Obama and his policies and the things that they were advocating, but we never saw any violence.
Yeah. One woman in particular is just so grating on me, and I use that word grating because I cannot stand to listen to her. I cannot stand to see her. I cannot stand to read about her, and that is California Congresswoman Maxine Waters and her comments regarding what should happen and inciting violence and absolute. Here's what she said, and I'll repeat it. You've heard it 1,000 times. If you see anybody from that cabinet, referring to the Trump cabinet, in a restaurant, in a department store, or at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd and you push back on them. This is absolutely repulsive from one of the most repulsive women I've ever listened to, Maxine Waters, who should be censured and dismissed from the halls of Congress.
Well, she really should, and this was actually one item that I agreed with Chuck Schumer on. When he would come out against it and say, we don't advocate that. And in other words, what he was saying is, Maxine, shut your mouth before we have to put duct tape over it and shut you up yourself. I think there are a lot of people who are thinking, this woman's got to be brought back down to earth. And hopefully it would be her own office and her constituents, but I would love to be a fly on the wall in a meeting when she's meeting with some of the other Democrats and they're saying, hey, do you realize what you just advocated?
Yeah, but let me ask you something. You touched on it just a moment ago. The only people that can clean up their act are the other Democrats. And they're sitting back, most of them, not being inclusive of what Schumer said, but most of them aren't saying or doing anything. And the only way they're going to clean it up is to have the hierarchy of the Democratic Party say, wait a minute, enough is enough. Let's talk about political circumstances. Let's talk about things that are going to benefit the American people. Let's get off all of this violence and vitriol and everything. But they're not doing that.
Well, this is what's really sad, is we've elected those folks to go back to Washington, to be in the Senate or the Congress. In other words, we've elected them to speak for us. And they're not doing that, because if they were speaking for us, they would get a hold of Maxine Waters and say, listen, this just cannot come from a congressman. It cannot come from a person who's in a leadership position. That's what you're in. You just cannot do this, and we need to see you just, either mince your words, make sure that what you say is very careful, and that. But you've got to be respectful of the American people. They're the ones who have sent us here. That's what leaders do. That's the hard thing. But leaders do that, and they stop and look, and they say, this may not be what the majority of the people want or what you want, and you're not the majority right now. But you can't just instigate this kind of thing to happen. It's just going to lead from one thing to the other, and the outcome is no good.
I will say this before I go to the weather. A year ago, Steve Scalise of Louisiana was shot playing baseball in D.C., and now he's healed up and basically almost back to where he should be, and he's still receiving more death threats and threats today because of this hatred that's been stirred up by Maxine Waters.
Well, this is what's really sad, is that when they start spewing and starting stuff, they get people who are mentally unstable to start doing things that they normally wouldn't do because it was suggested. And I think that's what their modus operandi is, well, I'll say this kind of stuff, and maybe somebody will be stupid enough to try something really drastic and get rid of the problem.
I think you have hit right on the head. Thank you very much. I'll take a little break here with the weather forecast and be back with more with Rita Ramsey. Stay tuned. Don't forget our weather forecast brought to you by Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company that have been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area for well over 50 years. Now, there are some big changes with the new tax act, and tax rates have changed. There's some new deductions, and you'd better check for you, your family, and your business. Get a hold of the best that can and will help you. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Right now, here's Gina with weather.
It's going to be nice and relatively mild as far as weather is concerned, considering the high temperatures that we had yesterday. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting mostly sunny skies for today. A little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the west, right around 15 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 30 miles an hour. And we are expecting a high of 78. Tonight, mostly clear skies. The winds will continue out of the west-southwest. Gusts high as 25 miles an hour. Expecting a low of 52 tomorrow. Sunny, still breezy, high of 72 for Friday night. Mostly clear skies with a low of 50. By Saturday, sunny and 75 clear skies for Saturday night with a low of 51. For Sunday, sunny skies in 82, and as we look ahead towards Monday, looks like sunny skies in mid-80s. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Once again, I want to remind you and thank you about our dear friends, and that's Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, providing accounting services to the Mini-Cash area. And with these new changes, don't forget, they are ready to answer your questions for your family, your business. They know and they will help you. Phillips Oaks, Goodwin, Crane and Company, with offices in Burley and Rupert, bringing you the weather. Right now, back to Rita Ramsey. Rita, one of the biggest problems we have right now, bar none, is, of course, the situation on the border. I absolutely have studied this. I had Frosty Woldridge here in my home for a couple of days, along with his lovely wife, Sandy. We had a chance to visit about this on a long conversation. This is so ridiculous that we, the American public, are standing by and watching this asinine, very light-fingered approach, if you will, to trying to close the border and protect us. It can be closed at 3 o'clock this afternoon if we, the people, demanded it and it was followed through on. What are your thoughts?
Well, that's just the part that makes us so mad, is that we know darn good and well that it could be solved. The first thing is that you enforce the law. The law that is, we don't need a bunch of new laws. You just enforce the laws. Second of all, if we have to have a fence, we need a fence. And it has been budgeted for many times over the years. We were promised during the Reagan administration that we would have a wall. The money was allocated and nothing happened. So that tells you that in 30-plus years, that they have no desire to cut off this stream. It's kind of interesting that we would talk about this. I had a Hispanic fellow in the shop yesterday, and on the counter I have some things on the Second Amendment. It's a really good brochure. And he picked it up and was looking at it while I was getting his parts and materials for him. And he lifted it up and he said, "We can't let this go." He couldn't hardly even speak English. He said, "We can't let this go. We have to keep the Second Amendment." And then he went on to say, "You know, those people that come across the border, they would quit coming across with all those drugs if people weren't using them." And that's exactly right.
Yep.
We are using what they're bringing, and so they're bringing it. So why don't we quit using all the drugs they're bringing and quit using them for help illegally, and it would stop the flow.
Okay, but quit using. The American public right now is absolutely being led by the nose, if you will, in a drug world, whether it is the antibiotics and some of the other drugs that are being issued by pharmaceutical companies and doctors, or whether it's the illicit drugs. We have got a major problem in this country of cleaning this mess up. How do we do it?
Well, I don't know the total answer, but I do know that there are alternatives, and I do know that people who are addicted to these things need to have help and need to get unaddicted, but they have to want to do that, because there aren't people out there who really want to be and just can't. There are ways that it can be done. It takes a lot of willpower and a lot of support, but it can be done. And it's all the illegal stuff that goes around. You know, this fellow mentioned, when you go down in Mexico, the only people that have guns are the bad people, because you're not allowed to have guns down there. And that's really true. And it doesn't matter whether it's guns or drugs or whatever it is. We have to be able to be a society that says, you know what, we want freedom and we want liberty, and this is the way that we're going to do it. We're going to make good choices. And people who are addicted to prescription drugs and that type of thing, there are ways that can be alleviated as well. It's a long, hard road. I don't mean to put doctors off or anything, because I think modern medicine is absolutely a blessing from God. But I think too often we think that if we just take a pill,
I agree,
or some medicine, that it's going to solve everything, and it doesn't, and then they just give you something to solve that one, and on, and pretty soon you're toxic with drugs, and nothing's doing any good anywhere.
You know, I am so glad you said that. I agree fully on that we have turned into a, here, take a pill, that'll cure this. Here, take this pill, that'll stop this. We're a pill-popping society, and it's got worse not only with illicit drugs, but also right at the pharmaceutical counter.
Well, it does, and the thing that's really sad about it is that's the way pharmaceuticals make their living, and so they're promoting it just as hard and fast as they can. And like I said, I know drugs are an absolute blessing in most cases, but we have got to start relying on things other than drugs. And I have my mom. She had one issue, and she went to the doctor, and he gave her something, and then she had another issue, and he gave her something, and pretty soon she had 4 or 5 of them, and she got on the internet, and she started looking them up and found out the second one he gave her was to cope with the things that we're getting from the first one and second and so forth. And finally she said, I I just decided to go cold turkey and see if I could get out from under it. And she did. Luckily, everything worked fine. She got her sight back to where she could see again decently and everything. But that, you know, you just don't know what things are going to do, and you've got to start saying, am I going to be under the influence of this all the time, or am I not?
You have to, and I'll say this, and I'll be emphatic about it. You have to be in charge of you and ask questions and demand answers.
Well, that's what it's all about. It's called self-responsibility. You take responsibility for what you've got, and if you need a little bit of help here and there, but you've got to be in charge.
Rita, I want to extend to you and Glenn and all the folks over there a very, very happy Independence Day and 4th of July celebration, and God bless you for being on the program. You really are a great person to visit with. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All righty, take care. Rita Ramsey, and I appreciate her being on the program. Oh, my goodness. 4 o'clock in the morning, we have breakfast then, and then we have work in the office here. And about this time of the day, I am so doggone hungry. Why, I'm starving to death. But I know some great places to go, and I'm going to share those with you. Like AC Drive-In at 601 East Main in Burley. Oh, my goodness, all the shakes, all the ice cream cones to beat the hot weather, and, of course, the famous Farmer Brown burgers and all the fries, and the shrimp and the small fry, only $7. Oh, my goodness sakes, you better stop in today. They're open Monday through Saturday, 11 to 9, close on Sundays. The AC Drive-In on East Main in Burley. How about we go on over to Taco Bandito at 2301 Overland in Burley? Oh, my goodness sakes, all your friends are there every day. They love it. You're going to love it, too. How about a breakfast burrito? Scrambled eggs, bacon and sausage, cheese, onions, tomatoes, sauce, all on a tortilla shell. Knock your boots off. Delicious. Wow, all the food is great at Taco Bandito, 2301 Overland in Burley. And, of course, burgers, etc. 2 locations. 124 South Oneida in Rupert, and also 700 Overland in Burley. You can get a medium spicy chicken combo with fries and drink, only $5. And every Sunday at the Burley location, shrimp dinner, only $5.99. Woo! And new milkshake flavors like peach, huckleberry, coconut. Oh my goodness! Burgers, etc. in Rupert and Burley. And last but not least, let's not forget, I'm drooling. I'm so hungry. Steve-O's at 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. Oh, the patio's open on Friday night. Live music on the weekends. Delicious buffalo burgers. Great salads. Oh, my goodness. The menu choices, fantastic. You're going to love the food. Great people. Dedicated staff. Right there at Steve-O's, 290 South, 600 West of Heyburn. And those are just a few great places to go when you're hungry and starving to death. I am. Hey, by the way, right now we're going to take a little break and send it over to Wheels at our main studios for the CBS News. Then we'll be back with, of course, our friends with Cache County School Days. Today, talking to retiring Superintendent Galen Smyer. We got all kinds of things left to go. Don't go away, Zeb at the Ranch. Oh, good morning to you. Zeb at the Ranch, my goodness sakes, I'm glad you're here. And by the way, our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, they say get ready for a road trip. They've got all the tires you need for safe driving. Stop in and see any one of the 7 locations today. Also, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. Wow, they're going to have a ripping good time next week over in Rupert for the Rupert 4th of July celebration for 2018 with the theme, America, Let's Celebrate. Grand Marshals are going to be Steve and Diane Scow. They're actually going to be starting this Saturday morning at 6 o'clock with the Christmas lighting breakfast in the Rupert Square. And then, of course, all the food booths. And then they're going going to have fireworks, and then they're going to have daily entertainment right there in the square at the gazebo. Oh, my goodness. And then, of course, don't forget, they're going to have mutton busting competition at the fairgrounds and horse races and the Firecracker 500 lawnmower race. And then on the 4th of July, the world-famous great big Rupert 4th of July parade at 11 o'clock. All of this and more at your Rupert 4th of July schedule of events starting on Saturday. And a lot of businesses that want to say, come on over to Rupert and enjoy with us, include Dixon Oil at 602 South 2nd and Rupert. Daryl and the crew at Dixon Oil wish you a very safe, sane, and great Independence Day 4th of July celebration. Don't you miss it. Along with Haruza Insurance at 723 South 3rd in Rupert. Oh, my goodness. All your commercial and business insurance, auto insurance, home life, and health insurance right there with the professionals at Haruza Insurance, 723 South 3rd in Rupert. Along with Snyder Paul Automotive, 205 West Ellis Street in Paul. And, of course, Leland and the crew, they have all your auto and truck parts needs. Stop in, and they wish you again a very happy 4th of July festivity on Independence Day coming up this next week. Thank you very much. We're about ready to go with our next segment, and of course I'm very, very happy to have had this on the air for a long time, and that's Cassia County School Days. And our thanks go out to our two major sponsors. First of all, A Child's World at 1308 Overland and Burley, and of course don't forget all the summer clothes. Listen to this, all the summer clothes are 25% off. And of course, if you spend $25, you get to choose a free book. All of this at the Family Store, A Child's World, 1308 Overland in Burley. And then also don't forget our friends at the Ambulatory Surgery Center. And they're located at 1344 Highland in Burley for your outpatient surgeries to save you money. Don't forget that. Give them a call. Stop in. 677-8888 or 678-5952. Ambulatory Surgery Center along with A Child's World, bringing you school days in Cassia County. And I'm very honored, and I mean that, to have the retiring superintendent with us on the phone this morning, a dear friend of myself and this program, Galen Smyer. Good morning.
Yep.
It is a treat to have you on the air. Wheels, turn him up a little bit, please. And Galen, I understand it's just a few more days before you can pick up the fly rod and head fishing.
Saturday's the day, so officially tomorrow is the last work or day of the work week, and so yes, it's kind of bittersweet. As I'm gathering things up and trying to prepare things for the next superintendent, there's a flood of memories, but it's a great community, and it's been a great and rewarding career, and so I'm walking away with my head high and feeling good about the school district and the community support that's here. And I just can't say enough about this area in which we live, Zeb, because most all of us live here by choice, not by chance, and it's because of the quality of life we enjoy, and schools are a big part of that.
Galen, let me, if I may, kind of talk to you a little bit about retirement. I know that I was thinking about canceling a lot of things as I got older in the last couple of years, and I have curtailed many things. And then you mentioned kind of bittersweet memories. It's not easy to walk away from a career that you've been dedicated to for all these years. Talk to us a little bit about that.
That's definitely the case, Zeb. As I'm talking about trying to hand things off, there are unfinished things that, if I were going to be here, it'd be easier for me to follow through, but to hand them off to somebody else, and so it is difficult, and some of them you have a great deal of energy put into them and time, and they're an important part of what you do, to just step back is difficult.
Well, I know that when I left the rodeo business, and you can equate with this, but when I left the rodeo business, I thought it wouldn't bother me. But then all of a sudden you start maybe looking at that suitcase, or maybe you look at a pair of boots, or you look at your hats up on the wall, and you think about where you should be on a certain date. Maybe it's back in April down in California, or maybe right now going into the 4th of July over on the coast in Oregon. Those are hard things to just take out of your life and dismiss. And being a superintendent and involved in education with the kids and the teachers all these years, it's not going to be easy.
No, I'm sure that's true until other things fill the void, because it's, and a lot of people don't realize it's a 24/7. I mean, there can be things happen late at night or early in the morning or on the weekends. And when you're dealing with people and facilities and students, and so there's just all manner of things that keep you engaged 24/7. So there's going to be a huge hole there, and so until other things fill that void, I anticipate that there'll be some melancholy. That there'll be times when I'll be sad about not being involved anymore, but time marches on, and again, I've had a great career. Came back to the community as an ag teacher, having grown up here, and then got to go into administration at the professional technical school, and then at the school district office. I've had a great career in working with students that I'm so thankful were a part of my life, and I'm proud and grateful for having been a part of their lives. And then I get to work with great community members and all kinds of supporters and things, and boards of trustees and school staff, and just the list goes on, and you know what it takes to make a community.
Absolutely.
And each of us, if we put forth a little effort to try to improve things, then we're all better off.
When I look back on my years in the rodeo business, and I can look at the buckles up on the wall that represent the many times that I've announced at the national finals and other rodeos, those are memories, and I'm very proud of that. Tell me a little bit, Galen, if you would, about some of the real proud memories that you have as far as being not only an educator, but also the superintendent of schools of Cassia County.
Well, it was definitely a transition to go from working with students in the classroom to working with adults trying to facilitate opportunities for students in the classroom. And so over the years, as you know, as an ag teacher and FFA advisor, I worked very closely with students, and also at the tech center, that when you see those students reach their potential and achieve to high degrees of ability and levels of achievement, there's just a satisfaction there that it's hard to describe. And then as you transition into administrative capacities, I was both fortunate and unfortunate to be the superintendent during the time of the recession. So we had to scramble and struggle to try to hold things together without cutting programs and eliminating things. Mm-hmm. And we were able to do that because we all tightened our belts. And I guess that's one of the things that I'm very proud of, is that we went into the recession in good enough shape that we were able to maintain all the way through. And as we came out the other end, we're much better than we might have otherwise been.
Galen, we have a caller with a question. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air. Thank you very much.
Mine is more of a statement than a question. I want to thank Galen for all of the many years he spent in public service. He's taught my kids in school, how to weld and everything else. In fact, my youngest son is an excellent welder because of his training there and because he has become the top technician at Young Automotive. And that's just a small example of what he's done for this community and for the people he's taught. And then I served with him for 12 years on the Burley Highway District while he was chairman. And I'll tell you what, we never had such harmony in an organization as we had then. And he was an excellent leader. And I just can say good luck to you, Galen, and want you to know we still love you.
Well, thank you for calling, sir. I appreciate that. Galen, your response, please. That was really nice.
Well, again, Zeb, a lot of people credit me with accomplishing things, but as you know, there aren't many things in this life that we do absolutely by ourselves. It's because we're surrounded by good people and work with people and try to support one another, and that's been the case in my career, that people have been there to help me, to guide me, to counsel me, to buoy me up and to teach me, because none of us start day one with the expertise and the knowledge that we have as we finish a career, and along the way you accumulate those things, and usually it's because someone else has taken the time to offer advice and help, and again, that's how we become better as a community and as individuals.
Now, let me ask you this question. Okay, we've talked about the past. We've talked about what's happening right now in the near with the retirement on Saturday, etc. But when you look ahead, Galen, as to where education is in general today, what do you hope changes, or what do you hope is maybe even made better with the situation today for education? What do you hope happens in education, not only for this area, but in general for the state of Idaho and the nation?
Well, there's a couple of things, Zeb, that are exciting. One is it's an incredible time to be alive. You think of all of the things that's happening, all the technological advances, and I often tell people if I had to start over today and was forced to choose a career, I'd probably just sit in the middle of the floor and cry, because there's so many things that I have an interest in that would be exciting careers. And so there's incredible opportunities for young people and adults. And one of the things that's, I think, been a change for many, many years, the focus has been on getting students to college, the university, and I understand and appreciate that. I went through that system. But at the same time, my background is also professional, technical, vocational, whatever term, career and technical that you want to use. And there's considerably more emphasis on making students aware of opportunities that are in those fields. And with the robotics and the technology and the computers and all of those kinds of things, people can have a great career and only have to invest a year or two initially for additional education that will get them into a career that will support them and a family very well, and do so right in this community. For many years, people had to leave and go away for a very financially rewarding career. That's no longer the case.
You know, and it's so true. You and I have talked about this in the past, and there is a clamoring and a yelling for more plumbers and more people involved in different vocations, whether it's electrical work or whatever. There is a real need out there in this country that needs to be filled.
Absolutely. And as things become more technologically advanced, they also become more complicated. Just think about your vehicles. Years ago, you could do a lot of repair and tune-up and so forth on a vehicle. Nowadays, you pop the hood and it's almost discernible one thing from another.
Right. Right, absolutely. We have a caller with a quick question. We're almost out of time. Caller, go ahead, please. You're on the air.
Oh, just a quick comment. I was back 40 years ago when you were starting your career in technical and had the privilege of having some electronics experience. Now, it's funny that you mentioned that. I hadn't thought about that. When we started taking auto mechanics and that, we were kind of outcasts if you were auto mechanics or looking for some of them vocational careers. But yet those careers have always been needed throughout time. So thanks for all the good things you've done over your career, and good luck to you in your endeavors.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I've had well wishes from a lot of people, and well, you deserve it. It's very rewarding, so thank you.
Thank you very much for your call. Galen, I'm going to put you on the hook for something right now. I'm an old man, and I think we're pretty close to the same age, but one of these days, you'd better call me and say, hey, let's two old men just sit on the riverbank and we'll go fishing together.
There you go.
I will look forward to it. God bless you, and I mean that, my dear friend Galen Smyer, retiring this weekend as Cassia County Superintendent of Schools. The very best to you, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Zeb, and thanks to your listeners and the entire community for the support, not only of me personally, but of the school system, and trying to make the community a better place in which to live.
God bless you. Galen Smyer, a dear friend on Cassia County School Days, brought to you by A Child's World, of course, at 1308 Overland in Burley, and Ambulatory Surgery Center at 1344 Highland in Burley. Number to call, 677-8888. Nice man. And it's a little emotional for me, too, because I've known him from way back when he was the ag teacher and everything. We've been friends for a long, long time. Right now, we're going to go to the phone line, and I believe we have with us the man at Denny's Restaurant, America's Diner. Good morning, Thomas. How are you?
Give me 1 second.
All right, Wheels, come on. We got to have him on the air and ready to go. Thank you. And Denny's Restaurant with Thomas will be coming up in just a moment. And don't forget at 10:30, we have, of course, the Old Fishing Hole, and that's with Josh of Sportsman's Warehouse, and we're looking forward to finding out where he's at this morning, fishing, while he's on the telephone with us on the program. Wheels, do we have Thomas there? And evidently waiting for... Pardon me?
I was going to say Thomas is ready for you.
All right, Thomas, good morning at America's Diner, Denny's Restaurant. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you this morning, Zeb?
Not too bad. You know, I didn't get too much of an opportunity to visit with you the other day when we were in there for Lunch Bunch, but oh my goodness, the menu choices for whether breakfast, lunch, or dinner, my goodness. Tell us about some of the great food, and there's been some new additions to that menu, too.
Yeah, Zeb, Denny's is always trying to listen to the guests and get feedback and update menus regularly. We've been trying to help people know that the brand is more than just breakfast. I know for a lot of years, Denny's, when people think about it, they think, let's go get a Grand Slam and breakfast, but they have got some great additions to our dinner menu. We have an awesome Mediterranean chicken dinner. We've got a meatloaf dinner now that's just to die for, and so they've added that. We just added our new menu as far as our limited time that just rolled out yesterday. Day before that, we are featuring another new America's Diner cheeseburger and some great new specialty pancakes. So just lots of new things. Always trying to meet the guests' wants and needs and change it up. So.
You know, let me ask you this. As far as the Denny's restaurants all across America, who really is the discerning factor as to what's on the menu, what changes, etc.? Do you get an input, and how is that all decided?
We do get some input. I mean, give input and recommendations, but on top of the recommendations, they will try to come up with items based off of that, and then they run focus groups, so they'll just gather up, random citizens that are willing to come and give their feedback. And so it ultimately is just people in America and giving their feedback that help choose ultimately what we're going to put on the menu.
Now, we're talking about two wonderful locations of Denny's Restaurant, and you're the head man in charge, 611 North Overland in Burley and 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. You really burn that interstate up going back and forth, don't you?
I do. It's been rough with all that construction, but...
Now, tell us, are both and most of the Denny's, are they basically all the same, or as management on a local basis like yourself, can you make some changes that you really like yourself?
I mean, I wish they were all equal. I mean, that's the brand goal. I mean, we want to be consistent across the board. So if you stop at Denny's anywhere across the country, you know what to expect. But obviously, it's franchise, and each franchisee, runs it differently. I try to do my best to stick to the brand standard, but we've had good feedback. I mean, we feel like we strive for greatness and try to go above and beyond and have good feedback as far as other people have been to other Denny's, and we strive to be above average, and try to represent the brand the way it should be. So that's the tough part about being a franchise, but I feel like Denny's has come a long way and is headed in the right direction.
I'll tell you what, the people make the difference. And when we have Lunch Bunch over there, your people are so polite. They are so helpful, and they're so caring, and that's indicative of saying what kind of a great manager and owner you are.
Well, I appreciate it. That's where full service restaurants. That's where the rubber meets the road. We've got to. It's a very competitive industry, and we've got to give people a reason to come back. And it's more than just the food; it's the experience and the memory that they have when they leave. So.
Now, you've been there for how many years? I mean, time flies when you're having fun. How long have you done this?
Yeah, we rolled over 5 years in Burley. We'll be 4 years in Twin here in October. So.
Oh my goodness!
Happy with the way the communities have accepted us and responded.
Well, I want to say to you, Thomas, and to your staff, absolutely excellent job. We appreciate you. We thank you for all your help. And we're talking to Thomas, of course, with Denny's Restaurants and 611 North Overland in Burley and 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. It's true, America's Diner. Thomas, God bless you, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, Zeb.
Thank you very much. Wonderful people. I mean, all my Lunch Bunchers, they just thoroughly enjoy going in there for the Zeb's Lunch Bunch, and the meals are so great, and just everything fun and very professional at Denny's Restaurant. Thank you, Thomas. We appreciate it. Right now, we're going to send it back over to our main studios and be ready to go in just about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, real quick, I want to remind you about Bennett Boys Auction Service. They're going to have another ripping good sale coming up on this Saturday, June 30th at 11 o'clock up in Fairfield at 150 North Soldier Road, a half mile north of the city center. They're going to have lunch by the Cook Shack, and oh my goodness, are they going to have some great items up there. Tractors and snowcats and guns and ammo and reloading kits and antiques and collectibles, oh my, and all kinds of tools and miscellaneous items. All of this at the Clark Auction this Saturday, June 30th, up in Fairfield. Managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. Joe Bennett, 539-0111. And never forget, the Bennett Boys Auction Service, no sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they can sell them all. Right now, it's time for one of my favorite segments on the radio, and I just absolutely envy this man that's right now on the program with us, and that's Josh from Sportsman's Warehouse with the Old Fishing Hole. Josh, good morning to you. How are you?
Oh, doing good, Zeb. How are you doing today?
Well, not as good as you, because you're living the good life. You're out there fishing, and where are you this morning? Tell everybody.
We're out at CJ Strike this morning, at least. We were out here last afternoon, and it was pretty good fishing other than the wind.
Well, now the wind's been a real problem the last couple of weeks, and it seems like it's always prominent in Idaho, but has it affected the catching of the fish that you're after?
Periodically, on and off. It's one of those that we had some kayaks that we could fish out of, and it made it kind of difficult, but we could paddle upwind and kind of drift along the shores and pick up a few fish here and there. Just a little bit more work with the wind.
Well, now tell us exactly.
Don't blow too hard to capsize us. It's a good time.
I hope not. Tell us a little bit about what kind of fish you're trying to catch this week. What are you going after?
Well, I just bring my crappie rod out again from where we were out at Steck Park at Brownlee. The same rig up with some 4-pound test line and a small little fluger reel and an ultralight rod, and just trying to, it looks like the fish so far have been a little deeper than what I was hoping. I was going to hope that they were right up on the shore and that, but it seems like the fish are in that like 12 to 22 foot range.
Okay, now why?
Just kind of dropping our jigs down and drifting along and seeing if we can pick up a few, and we've caught a few crappie and a few perch, and it's been pretty good. The bass fishing could probably be a little better if we targeted them, but we're using pretty small stuff so that we can kind of isolate the crappie and perch.
Okay, now, Josh, let me ask you this. When fishermen are after, like, crappie or the perch or whatever, and you say they've moved to the deeper water, how does a fisherman gauge, number one, how deep the water is or where they might be at? What do you do? How do you know that?
Usually I'll drop, like I got a little anchor that's about 25 feet of rope on it, and I can go out in deep water and kind of drop that down and kind of drift until it catches. And then I know I'm in that like 20 to 25 foot of water. And then I can throw it usually towards the shoreline and let it kind of sink down and work my jig back to my boat. And it seems like most of the fish that I'm picking up are right underneath my boat.
Okay, now what is the fascination or what is the fun of trying to catch the smaller panfish like the crappie and the perch?
So they're just incredibly delicate when you eat them. They're just really good eating, really mild white fish meat, and they fry up real nice. And when you fillet them, you get a nice little fish stick off of each side, basically.
Okay, now that leads me into another topic to talk about Sportsman's Warehouse. You're not just talking fishing gear, the rods and the reels and the lures and the leaders, because when you go on a fishing trip, people really need to know about camping and cooking gear. Tell us about some of the things that you take with you.
Yeah, I usually pick up one of our Lodge cast iron skillets and grab a bottle of your favorite vegetable or olive oil and take it with me. We sell some shore lunch batters for different types of fish or different types of spices if you like it really spicy or not. There's like a Cajun style or there's a beer batter style. But we sell all those kind of fixings there in our camping department to go along with your fishing trip.
Now, when you're up there for a couple of days, like I think you were over at Brownlee Reservoir not too many days ago, what about camping tents and what about camping gear? Tell us about what's your mode of choice.
My mode of choice is I'm still a tenting type of person just because of gas mileage and everything else of towing the trailer. When we did go to Brownlee, we took the Jumpin' Jack trailer, which we sell at Sportsman's Warehouse, which is like a pop-up canvas tent that you can put your gear on top of and tote it along, and it will go just about anywhere your truck will go, it will follow, as long as all your stuff's tied down on top. But we sell that through the store also out there. It doesn't have the bathroom or anything in it, so you kind of got to have a rest area or something around the campground, or you got to build your own or bring a porta potty. But that's about as lavish as I can get out camping. The other times I go, I usually just take my 2-man Kelty tent and a little sleeping pad. The sleeping pad's probably the most important part of trying to stay comfortable through the night. Not only does it get you off the ground, it keeps you insulated off the ground and a lot warm and a lot more comfortable. It's important to get a good night's sleep.
Absolutely. Josh, this is what I'm leading up to, is that for people that have never enjoyed the great outdoors, and maybe they've been confined to city living and just walking to an office every day, and now they've moved here to Idaho and they want to really enjoy the good life, when they go to Sportsman's Warehouse, how do they know what they need? How do they know what they want? How do you explain that to them?
The easiest thing is have them come in and grab one of our knowledgeable associates and just explain what they're trying to do. If they're heading out to go camping and they don't have nothing, have never done it, all of our associates are pretty fluent in the camping sector. We've all done it, and we can kind of get a feel of where you're going and what you're going to really need to be comfortable out there.
Okay, now when it comes to the cooking gear, I was really amazed at Sportsman's Warehouse in Twin Falls at 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard. Really, a lot of things are pretty precise and concise, and it's not going to be burdensome to where you have to rent a U-Haul to get up in the mountains, do you?
No, I did it for years in my 81 Subaru. It's nice to have like a four-door hatchback and something with all-wheel drive as a bare minimum if you really want to do everything. But there's a lot of places you can just car camp. And when you car camp, you can, get to a lot of these campgrounds. There's a lot of different facilities that would be available, like restrooms and water. And you can, something in your backyard, you got Lake Walcott out there. You can go out there for $10 with a tent. They've got showers, shag grass, basketball hoops. It's a beautiful park out there for, an overnight camping trip with a city family that's never done it before. That's a great place to start.
Let me ask you this question, and you know all about fishing. I mean, you've got a vast knowledge of fishing and how to catch them, where to go, etc. How do you teach that kind of thing to the new sports person that wants to get out and enjoy fishing? Maybe they don't know that trout aren't here or are here, or maybe catfish are over there, or bass. How do you teach them where the fish that they're going after probably will be?
Well, it's one of those that it's very specific with me, so it's like every time I decide to go after something new, it's a whole nother can of worms, really. Right now I have probably 6 or 7 tackle boxes for each individual species of fish that I'm going to go after. And if I think I might encounter multiple species, I might take an empty tackle box. I'll go through my stuff and get a little bit out of this box and a little bit out of that box, so that I don't have to take all 7 boxes with me when I go. And then each time I go after that species, I'm usually picking up a few new lures or line or something, and I'm adding to that box, and it's just been a continual collection since I was probably 8 years old, that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. So you just got to start somewhere and, start building yourself a box with something you enjoy, and then while you're in the midst of that, you'll find a friend that's doing something a little different, and you'll want to do that, and you'll go find out what you need and what you need to get to, and we'll hook you up with everything.
When you explain to somebody, and I'm sure you've had the opportunity at the store at Sportsman's Warehouse many times, the fun of fishing, how do you explain it to them if they've never really taken or gone on a fishing trip before?
It's one of those, the surprise of finding something on the end of your line after about 30 casts and starting to wonder if you were actually going to do it right or if you had the right stuff. You'll always start questioning yourself and if you're doing it right. And then when you surprise yourself and you do catch a fish, you ask yourself, what were you doing? Can I duplicate that? How can I do that again? And as you strive to do it again, you learn different techniques, what we call like cadences with our retrieve. Like maybe you were reeling really fast that time, or you thought it was a bad cast and you're reeling it in and a fish hits it. You got to ask yourself, well, why? How can I duplicate that? You might cast out and just start reeling really fast again. You catch another one, and pretty soon you develop a pattern. And it's developing those patterns, especially when you're with friends and family, that really make it fun, because then it can become a competition. And then you might be able to share that information with your buddy of what you were doing, and he can duplicate it, and it becomes a lot more fun then, because then you see him being successful too.
How much knowledge did you garner over the years regarding the different kinds of species of fish, whether it's like catfish or whether it's trout or bass or whatever you're after? You really have to have the mindset to kind of think as to where they are and what they might want to bite on, right?
Yeah, you kind of get that knack over the years of like what they call like reading water, walking up to a river and looking at the river and knowing where the fish would be holding in that river. But it takes, old guys teaching young guys and getting out there and doing it, and then sitting there sometimes and just watching other people do it so that you can see how they're doing it. And you might just take their technique and give it a little twist of how you were fishing, and it will work for you. But sometimes it's just being observant and being able to change and be flexible. Not always is the same lure that always worked for you is always going to work. I mean, it will be your bait that you'll trust, but you might come across another guy that's doing it twice as good as you, and he's doing it with a different lure, and you'll learn. And that's what it takes.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's like different species of fish. I'm always after like what we call like a unicorn, something I've never caught before. So if I have an opportunity that comes along where I've never caught one, I want to go and see how people do it, and I want to learn how to do it. And so just having that drive makes it easier for me.
Absolutely. Josh, tell everybody the hours of Sportsman's Warehouse and when you will be there so they can come down and introduce themselves to you and find out more about the great art of fishing.
We'll be open 10 to 6 on Sunday, 9 to 9 on most of our Monday through Saturday, unless there's a holiday. And I am off on Wednesdays and Thursdays, so usually any time in the afternoon on Monday, Tuesday, Friday, or Saturday and Sunday, I'm there.
Josh, I can't tell you how much I enjoy talking to you. You are up at CJ Strike right now and catching crappie and perch. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much on behalf of Sportsman's Warehouse. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, no problem. The only one thing I do want to say is this might be the last weekend for the salmon season. There's 141 caught in the South Fork. There's 95 caught up around the Sawtooth upper salmon region. They got 86 fish in the Passamaquoddy hatchery, 26 fish in the Sawtooth hatchery. You know, if you've never caught a salmon in Idaho before, this would be your chance.
Absolutely. Josh, God bless. Have a wonderful day fishing.
You too, Zeb. Have a great day.
All right, thank you. I just really enjoy visiting with him as he talks about the tackle and he talks about what he's trying to catch and about the other equipment. And you can find out all about it yourself. Just stop in to Sportsman's Warehouse at 1940 Bridgeview Boulevard in Twin Falls. Josh and Reese and the whole crew serving you at Sportsman's Warehouse. Oh, my goodness, right now it's time for the weather forecast brought to you by Scarrows Meats. Oh, my goodness, delicious meats from Scarrows Meats, whether it's the marinated prime ribs or the smoked turkeys or the smoked hams or the breakfast sausages or the bacons or the bratwurst. Oh, the bratwursts are fantastic. You're going to love all the meats at Scarrows Meats. 331 North Road, Jerome. Number to call, 324-7657. Or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Right now, let's take a listen to Gina and the weather.
It's going to be nice and relatively mild as far as weather is concerned, considering the high temperatures that we had yesterday. Here's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch. We are expecting mostly sunny skies for today. A little bit on the breezy side. Winds out of the west, right around 15 miles an hour. Gusts as high as 30 miles an hour. And we are expecting a high of 78. Tonight, mostly clear skies. The winds will continue out of the west-southwest. Gusts as high as 25 miles an hour. Expecting a low of 52 tomorrow. Sunny, still breezy, high of 72 for Friday night. Mostly clear skies with a low of 50. By Saturday, sunny and 75 clear skies for Saturday night with a low of 51. For Sunday, sunny skies in 82, and as we look ahead towards Monday, looks like sunny skies in mid-80s. That's your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you, Gina, and brought to you by Scarrows Meats. Don Scarrow and the crew at 331 North Road. Jerome, absolutely changing the way we eat, one delicious bite at a time. What are you going to do next week on the 4th of July for Independence Day celebration? What is your family going to do? What are some of the different traits, the different things that you do year after year? What are you going to do? Have everybody over for a barbecue? Are you going to go someplace? Are you going to go fishing? Are you going to go to a parade? What are you going to do on the 4th of July that has become kind of a family habit? Call me quickly. I'd like to hear some of those at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I can remember when I was a little boy back home in Wisconsin on the 4th of July. I mean, we always went to an area parade, and then we'd come home, and we always had the family, lots of the aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas, and everybody come over for a late afternoon lunch. And it was my job to turn the crank on the old-fashioned ice cream maker. How many of you still do that, make homemade ice cream? Give me a call. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are about this next week. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Wheels, what about you? What are you going to do on the 4th of July?
You know, listening to everything this past week, I might go see the firecracker long races, and, because to be honest, I haven't seen that before. It would be my first time.
It'd be a lot of fun to participate. What you ought to do is put an engine on that wheelchair and start a special segment.
I've thought about that. I don't know how well it'd work with the manual chair that I got. I feel like I would just end up flying out of it.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I was just kidding.
However, here's a twist for you. I actually have a power chair too, kind of.
Really?
Kind of like Mr. Jerry Boss. And
you don't drive as bad as he does, do you?
I don't want to get myself in trouble here.
Okay.
But anyway, so it's I have a seatbelt on that and everything too. So that's a good idea.
You have a seatbelt on it? How fast does it go?
It's old, but when I first got it went fast for being the small little booger that I was. And, so it was like, at the time, I would say it maybe goes 10 miles an hour.
Well, yeah, but that's plenty fast.
For a power chair, it is.
Yeah.
It definitely is. But
you could really overshoot the runway over there at K-Bar.
I really could, and it's been awesome growing up.
I'd hate to have you have a portable phone on that wheelchair, and you'd have to call about 5 minutes before you get to the station and say, this is Command Patrol 101 calling the tower for landing. Gina, are you there?
And that's the thing, is I'm going to get the old, like, 40s, 50s old phones, like the big block phones.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a military-style phone, I think, for that, if we put that on there, so in that way it's all legit and everything. And
well, I certainly hope you and your family have a wonderful 4th of July Independence Day celebration, and just a lot of fun. Do you make homemade ice cream with your family?
We do. My grandma will make it sometimes on my mom's side.
Okay.
But other than that, she's good at pies and everything, so it's one of those things where we do.
All right.
Make stuff like that, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, you just have a great time. Say hello to the rest of your family. I'm going to do a quick commercial, and maybe we'll have a call or two coming in at 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. I really appreciate, and I just don't feel like I can say enough of a thank you to our great friends at your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. They do so much to help everybody. Yes, that's right. Service absolutely reigns supreme. And right now, if you're getting ready for a road trip, maybe you're leaving this weekend, maybe you're leaving on the 4th of July, whatever, make sure you drive safely with the best of tires from your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. 7 locations serving you, and they include Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline in Twin Falls, and Randy on Overland and Burley. And not only the tires, but also the best in brake service, and of course front-end alignments and shocks and struts and batteries. And they offer a free pre-trip safety check that they'll check your tire pressure and the brake components, and they'll check the wheel alignment for tire wear, front-end components, shocks and struts, and the battery. They want you to have fun on a safe road trip so that you can get where you're going and turn around and get back safely. All 7 locations of your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, you stop in and see them today. Wheels, have we got some kind of a patriotic song we could play right now to kind of get us in the spirit for Independence Day celebration, 4th of July? Have you got something real handy?
Oh, yes, sir. Give me 1 minute.
I'll give you 30 seconds. All right, there you go. Figure it out. Pardon me?
I was just going to say, I'm completely fine with that.
All right. I'll tell you what, you find something that we can kind of get in a patriotic mood for today. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to say everybody tune in again next Monday at 8:06. We'll be right here saddling the horse for 3 hours from 8:06 to 11 on Zeb at the Ranch. And we've got a lot of great guests coming up this next Monday. Just to give you kind of a semblance of who's going to be on, we've got Richard Manning from Washington, D.C., Julio Rivera talking about immigration problems. We're going to talk to an attorney with the Pacific Legal Foundation regarding the travel ban, and we are expecting, let's take a look here, a woman that's going to be talking about her confrontation with Maxine Waters. So all of that planned for next Monday. Right now, if Wheels has some patriotic music ready for us, I'm going to say goodbye, everybody, and have a super weekend. We'll see you Monday.